In this video we will show how to create a new algorithm for the Statistical Manager. Let's start from a project in the Eclipse IDE that is Mavenized. In particular, after having Mavenized the project in Eclipse, you have to put the dependency about the ecological engine library. Let's start then creating a new class which implements a very basic algorithm. The algorithm will be executed locally by the Statistical Manager. The first step is to extend a very basic interface for local running algorithms. The interface is the standard local external algorithm. Let's add the unimplemented methods and then we start to fulfill the methods. The algorithm I'm going to implement will write a very simple file that will be automatically stored by the Statistical Manager on the remote storage. The initialization method, basically in this case, only needs a very simple log indication to be traced by the Statistical Manager logs. In this case, I used the available analysis logger coming from the ecological engine library. We do the same for the shutdown method. In the case of a database management, the shutdown will close the connection, while the initializer will open the connection towards the database. In the description section, I add a very simple description for the algorithm. As input parameter, I will request to the user to insert the name of the user. This is achieved by this addInputString method, to which we pass the name of the variable, a description for the variable, and the default value. The input parameter will be automatically passed by the Statistical Manager to the procedure, in particular to the process method. We can retrieve such parameters by means of the name that we set in the input parameters method. In this case, by means of the getInputParameter method, I can retrieve the name inserted by the user. I then add some code which will write in the file named myname the string "hi there", and then the procedure will close the file. One last step is to set and to indicate the outputs of the procedure. This is a very delicate phase. I override the getOutput method, which returns a statistical type. As first output parameter, we instantiate a primitive type object, in which we state that the object is of file type. The file object will be constructed around the input parameter by the user. We declare this as a file type according to the primitive types of the Statistical Manager. We associate name to this output variable and the description. As second output, we instantiate another primitive type that is associated to a string. The string will contain the name input by the user. We set that this is a primitive type of type string. We associate a name to this output variable and the description. We set then a linked hash map which will keep the order of the parameters in order to store both the output variables. We add both the output objects to the map. We finally create an output which is of primitive type and is a map containing both the output objects. We set that the output is a linked dash map or primitive type map. The name of this output object is results map and its description is this. This output object will return the output map. We finally obtain the getOutput procedure, which will be invoked by the Statistical Manager in order to understand the type of the output objects. At this point, in the ecological engine library, the algorithm will be indexed with a very particular name that will be displayed by the Statistical Manager interface. I edited the transducers.properties file, as this algorithm performs a transformation from a name, that is a string, to a file. Once the file editing is finished, the standard deployment facilities of iMarine will make the algorithm available to the Statistical Manager, and the interface will be automatically generated. As you can see in the Statistical Manager portlet, my algorithm appears with its description and the interface is automatically generated. Now I run the algorithm and eventually obtain the results. So here you find the output values and the file that I can download.